What's cooking, everybody? Welcome back to the O Show Podcast, episode 431. We are presented by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale, Arizona. October 30th, the official grand opening for Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Scottsdale. VIP week kicks off on October 26th. That's Tuesday, October 26th, with the grand opening Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to noon on October 30th, the day before Halloween. We're also sponsored by betonline.ag. Make your picks for the week, both the ALCS and the NLCS. We got Game 4 tonight between the Dodgers and the Braves live at Chavez Ravine in the Dodger Stadium. We also got Game 5 today between the Red Sox and the Astros, all knotted up at 2 apiece. Week 7 of the NFL coming up. There's a lot to bet on, a lot of picks to make. Make your parlays, make your prop bets. Sign up for a 50% bonus at betonline.ag. We got Skylar Lysaker in the house. What's going on, man?
We're enjoying the day. Going
Just
through tasks. Away? Yeah, plugging away, and now we're doing a podcast.
Plugging away.
Man.
You are the Chief Sales Officer over at ISA Solutions?
ISA Industries.
ISA Industries.
Correct.
So what made you want to be in the sales game? Because, again, we are very similar in age, both trying to, again, plug away, in a sense, you could say, as entrepreneurs trying to, quote-unquote, hack it in our respective businesses, our respective industries. What is it about your job right now that kind of sets your soul on fire?
Certainly. So I like to think that I was born for communication and sales. I don't know why, because I grew up very, very shy. But when I was in high school, I got introduced into this business club called DECA. I don't know if you've heard of DECA, but I did a public relations campaign on anti-bullying when I was a kid because I suffered with that. And the first time that I got on stage and was able to present in front of my school, I felt this overwhelming ability to basically be able to share a story. And from there on out, I was able to just run with it. So I started my first band. I was performing in front of hundreds of people at a time, and I was pitching our presentation on stage to investors and people at business competitions. So from there, I basically was like, I'm going to do entrepreneurship. I'm going to be in a sales role. I love talking to people. I love sharing products that I believe in. And that's what I'm doing at ISA, sharing something that I believe in, a technology that I think will change the world, and how we power everything.
So you're very passionate about it.
Absolutely.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the similar boat when it came to not being a shy kid, but being a quiet kid growing up. And now it's just like yak, yak, yak. You can't shut me up about some things. Other things, I'm just literally there. I'm like a cat. Like, if you were to compare yourself to either being a dog or a cat, I'm definitely still a cat, just maybe a little bit more of an outgoing one.
Yeah, I would tend to lean on that side as well. Like, I love to communicate. I love to share ideas and get into debates, but I also prefer maintaining quiet in most conversations and even in public. It's just how I roll.
No, that's the smart thing to do. How many people do you see out there that are just literally not being themselves on social media, but going out of their way to have attention on them all the time?
All the time. I think it's just a part of the culture nowadays. Since it's so easy to become a personality, you kind of you birth yourself into this. It's kind of like an alter ego, but I don't understand the necessity of it.
Right.
I think it's just a lot of the marketing and a lot of the diversion of what's happening through marketing that are being propelled through companies and products and services, etc., that people think they have to be a certain way. And I don't really buy into that persona. I don't really want a big following. I don't try to have a big following. I don't make content that sells things or products or anything like that. I'm just me. And that's what I respect the most out of creators, when they're just them, wholly.
What kind of inspires you to put out your own, not branded content, but the content that that you like and what you're inspired by? Because I've seen some of the videos that you've put out recently, like inspiring messages, whether they be quotes from something or just like overall, like you ingesting, like you are what you ingest. I saw that one about, eating well, what you breathe, what you see, what you ingest is who you become. Right, the music you listen to, the games you play, the stuff you're interested in, that's what makes you you, like what you're attracted to, that makes you you. Like, what inspired you to put out that stuff only, again, for you, not to be this character that gets all this attention?
Generally, it's because I think that I suffered a lot in my younger years not really knowing who I was. And I didn't really knew who I was or who I would become until I started to audit what I allowed into my life. People just, they're so busy that they aren't aware how influenced they are. Like, regardless if you want to say you are being influenced or not, or you think you can just magically block out the reality around you, you can't. You are autonomously a sponge of EMF radiation, of frequencies, of the music, the food, the people you listen to, everything. And it kind of culminates this subconscious persona that you carry around. And until you become very considerate of everything you listen to and think about and believe, you kind of you're not really in control of you. And I think that was something that really concerned me. I saw it happening to me. I see it happen with family and friends where people will just take on these personas, and I'm like, that's not them. That's just like what they're picking up from the world around them.
Do you think it's for attention purposes or to build their quote unquote brand or anything else? Is it an insecurity thing?
That's a great question. It could be a combination of insecurity and trauma. It could be wanting to, build up that persona. It could be on accident. I mean, like I said, people are so busy. Imagine your day-to-day life. And then a lot of people think they just don't have the time to like consider and take note of what they're letting in. And I think that's very important. I think a lot of people, they have this concept that like, if you are disciplined and you're putting yourself in this box that like you feel like you're trapped. But for me, the opposing perspective is that like within discipline and within freedom and boundaries, there's freedom because you're actually making the decisions on behalf of yourself. You're choosing to put in the work and put in the time and to say no, that you actually have peace and freedom within that and not the opposite.
How do you find that, whether it be at a young age or an older age? Because it's easy to say, oh, was a breakout moment in my life. This is making me happy right now. Like my eyes are open, but at the same time, you're not the true version of yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there?
Great question. There was no breakout time or even I wasn't trying to get there. It was just trial and error. And me being frustrated enough until I surrendered one day and realized, like, dang, the things that I'm doing aren't really working. So maybe stop listening to everybody that I was listening to at the time and change what I listen to and change what I ingest.
So when it comes to being Skylar, what is it that you ingest? What is it that you love to consume? Whether it be certain types of music, certain hobbies, what do you do?
Certainly.
What makes you happy?
Yeah. So I'm a simple guy. I like simple things like good quality, simple food. You look at, like, you talk to my girlfriend about my diet, I'm weird. Like, give me some ground beef and some orange juice or some fruit or just some straight chicken. Like, I am under the understanding at this point in life that the closer you are to, like, the most natural foods, it is the way that we were designed. It is the way that we were designed to be. Beyond my diet and my obsession with health and nutrition, I'm really interested in the physiology of the body and biomechanics and how the body is supposed to move and how we've been wrecking our body from the shoes we're wearing and from the clothes we're wearing and the things we do. So I'm obsessed with physiology and health. I'm obsessed with mindset. And I'm really, more than anything, I'm reading the Bible a lot right now. So I'm learning a ton from the scripture. I am just digesting every single day. So, like, beyond work, that is literally what I do. Like, Bible, workout, undo my physiological deficits, and build my business. And then I'm into music too. I've been a musician, like I mentioned earlier, my whole entire life. I love all types of music. Mainly, I'm very picky though with lyrics. Like I mentioned earlier, auditing the things you listen to, I've noticed certain genres and certain moods of songs change how I feel. And I think everybody can attest to that because you listen to things to, like, empathize, but sometimes you listen to things just because you're so used to it. So you got to know the difference between listening to tracks that you empathize with and you can resonate with that artist, and when you're listening to stuff just because it's popular or trendy. So that's kind of an insight into
what
my
do you
world.
resonate with music-wise?
So
what are some of those inspirations?
I resonate with a lot of stuff. It's multi-genre. It's not really one thing or the other. More or less, it happens to be underground or stuff that is not as popular because
I'm the same exact way.
it's just because things that are popular, they tend to once again have that marketing and that influence that attracts a large quantifiable group of people, and it's not a true message. So I have no problem with people using songwriters and etc, but a lot of the popular tracks are not written by their artists. They're written by other people, and you can tell. It just seems fake. So that's my beef, I guess, with modern day music industry.
What kind of forms that, thought process for you? Like, not only music, and put that aside for a second, but when it comes to being like in top tier physical shape, like wanting to feel as healthy as you possibly can. Like, what growing up kind of led you to that?
For me growing up, I suffered a lot of injuries. So I had problems with my knees. I had Osgood-Schlatter's. My friends would call it the emergency shutoff switch in basketball. So they'd punch my knee and boom, I was down. I broke my ankle a few times, so I noticed the impingements in my muscles and how I move. So like I want to work at absolute 100% resonance. Like I want to be the way that God designed me to be without the infringements of modern day world and basically humans thinking we're better than we actually are because we're these all hailing buildings. We built these skyscrapers and towers and all this stuff. So we have this air of like we know it all. And I think the more that I've come to realize that I don't know it all, I don't know much, I actually learn more. So it's just kind of, there's like a humility in realizing that, dang, maybe what I've been taught, maybe what the fitness industry is teaching is not really like what's right for us. So it's starting to question.
There's a lot of regimens out there. There's a lot of programs that people dish out. There was the Athlete X guy I did for a while. Jeff Cavalier, I think is his name. There's so many different, that's just one example. There's so many different guys, and that's just workout routines, content creation as a whole, consuming content. Like you said, what you ingest is who you become, like if you're listening to Joe Rogan, you become part of that fan base. If you're listening to Barstool Sports, you become part of that fan base. And it shapes your mentality, whether you're at a young age or if you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, whatever inspires you, that's what's going to set you off, and you're going to develop that mentality, that type of personality, and that's who you want to be, even though that's not the true version of yourself.
That is very well stated.
I think it's very tricky. Like, you strike me as someone who really does not, like, you make content on your page, but you don't strike me as someone who's like pro social media. Like, you could live without it.
I would be fine.
You think everybody could live without it?
I think everybody could live without it. I see it as a tool, and don't get me wrong here, I'm not perfect. Yeah. I definitely don't use it as a tool all the time. And I even made a video on it for you. You watched it, but most people don't use social media. They are used by social media. I made a video about that on social media. So even still, I am used by social media. So I'm not here trying to spew this holier than thou perception, but I've just become acutely aware that I am still addicted to things that probably aren't for the best of me, and I want other people to at least become cognizant and or aware of that. And the thing is once you become aware of something that's gripping a hold of you, it loses its grip hold on you. So I'll go on the social media fast. I'll get rid of it for a while. I'll do fast of other things. If I'm feeling like I'm too dependent on something, I have to leave it. I get this weird feeling inside me that I need to leave it. So there's just this intuitive connection within that says hey, here's where you need to go.
You could channel some of those bad things that you're talking about. Give me an example of something that you consider a bad trait that you still possess.
Anger.
I feel like a lot of people have that.
Yeah. I
have Irish blood.
Yeah.
I screamed at the top of my lungs on the way here today. There was a guy who took a right turn, and it was the slowest right turn in the history of right turns. And I just wanted to literally just rip his face off.
Yep. I think that's the thing that I still attach to. Really, I think it's very deeply rooted for me. I got a lot of rebellious and a lot of anger just at, society in general. I think a lot of it has to do with, like I said, bullying at a younger age. And then secondarily, the more that I researched how the world operates and the further I get into studying kind of the grip holds of politics and the financial system, I'm just generally pissed off because it hurts a lot of people. So I have this chip on my shoulder to want and to change things because I've come to discover how gnarly it actually gets. So I have a lot of anger. I attempt to express it in a healthy form, which is where music comes in. I think that's been one of the best mediums for me is being able to, transform that in a way that's actually conducive or creative where you don't just hold on to it.
Yeah. I channel it probably using the gym.
Yeah.
But you're musically gifted, so whether it be actually playing an instrument, writing a song, like you could channel it into that and
Yeah.
come out with something beautiful on the other side of it.
Exactly.
What's the best song you ever written? Or at least the one that you're most proud of? And then we could plug it later.
Now I got to think of one that would make sense because I was in a band. It was a metal band, so I was a singer in
Really?
a metal band for a while.
Nice.
So there's a one song called "Truth Within" by that band that I really loved, and then in the hip hop stuff that I've been writing and producing on my own, I think one of the songs that I just enjoy the most is a song called "Brokenness and Broken Wishes," and that song is about basically finding hope in things going wrong. So like similar to what this tattoo says, which says every dead end a new beginning, every bad time an exciting rejoice. Just knowing that when a door is closed or when a wish does not come to fruition, there's still hope in it because there's something better beyond that. There's a reason for it, or at least finding a reason for it and being able to deal with it. A lot of people just don't want to deal with it. They want to go into this victim mindset. So for me, being able to express that and share that and realize like, boom, that happened. All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's find another path.
Yeah. I like everything happens for a reason is the basic cliche to say, and kind of what you just said.
Yeah, it's cliche.
Like,
AF.
don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Don't sweat. Are you from Arizona?
No.
Well, where the hell are you from?
I'm from Minnesota originally. I've been living here for 4 years, so I left you on the cliffhanger there.
Oh, there
but,
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get away from the cold for a while too. And you've bounced around, you know, like you were the CEO of a marketing company that you did. Like there's all of this different stuff that has led you to what you're doing right now.
Yep, absolutely. The funny thing is, I've been with the same business partner. So we all transplanted from the Midwest. We ended up here. We were in the marketing land for a while. Then we realized that, we love clients, but like a lot of clients like don't want to deal with their other problems, which can lead to inefficiencies in marketing. So we got to this point where like we're like being like counselors and or like consultants, and like if there wasn't processes in place, we didn't want to work with them because it was annoying, because like our marketing would reflect poorly if they had a bad sales process or if they had a bad this or a bad that. And we didn't want to get roasted by clients because they didn't have control over their 85% of our business, and our little percentile of marketing, would get the blame. So we are like, screw that, dude. Let's build something of our own. So we tried a few things, failed, some we shut down, and now we've landed on ISA, and we see the value of the technology at this time. The world needs it. And secondarily, we're just so rebellious. Like, I don't think we could ever work for somebody else. That's like our absolute fear. I'm not going to lie.
I feel like that's a lot of that's probably one of the biggest fears in the eyes of a lot of entrepreneurs. I already have that bug.
Yep.
Like maybe like a part-time job. I don't know if I'll ever go full-time working for someone else unless it's like a dire situation and I have to.
Yep.
Have you felt, starting out in marketing, working on that side of things, how difficult did you find it having to create certain things for different markets, different audiences, different platforms in a way? Because again, like today, like when it comes to content creation, you got to make stuff not only for Facebook, specifically design it for Instagram, specifically done to design it for TikTok, all of this different stuff in order to get your stuff out there. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean,
and a lot.
For us, we simplified it. Like we would make some content and distribute on a few platforms. We were really focused on more or less brand identity and then paid. So we weren't really like the day-to-day content creators. We would do the content for the paid ads, and then we would consult, and then we'd give them strategies and processes, which is why I said like we were more like consultants, because I think it's really important, and even we get consulted on our business now on marketing. Like we've hired people who are from other marketing agencies to come give us marketing advice in our company. Like we used to do marketing, but getting the outside perspective from somebody else who's not you is like fantastic. There's a beauty in being corrected. Let me leave it at that.
I mean, you really have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I might have to delegate this to someone else who actually knows what they're talking about in order for this to grow.
Yep, 100%.
That's interesting. I want to leave you with this. I don't take too much of your time here, because you probably got a lot of stuff going on. You got a girlfriend. You got a life. I don't. So I'm going to be here all day. what is the thing that it goes back to you, like one quote, one instance that you kind of resonate with? Because you talked about you're starting to read the Bible a little bit more. Christianity's kind of blossoming in your life in that sense too. And I've been surrounded by a ton of Christians who weren't lost in a sense, but like maybe they weren't their true identities until they kind of got into that, right? Yeah. What was it about you? What was the moment where it kind of all clicked?
Well, most of my life, I wasn't raised any certain way, and I kept living and exploring different things, and eventually, it was weird, like, Christianity just kept popping up, and I kept avoiding it, and I was like, no thanks. It was my stigma from my attempts to go to church as a kid, and my friends that were Christians and their families, but them doing everything opposite of what they told me. It's funny because in the Bible it talks about the modern church being like that, being like super, being basically opposite of everything they preach. So it's like legit. It's like prophesied like perfectly in the scripture. But it was my fear of, consuming it, and it kept coming back to me in weird instances. Like it would pop up in my mind, or it'd pop up on a YouTube channel, or I'd be like having a weird experience, and all of a sudden like turn my radio on, boom, Jesus is here, and I was like, what is this? So soon as I basically hit a low in one of my businesses and I didn't know what to do, and I had to hit the restart button on life and go back home and clear my mind and stuff like that, I just surrendered, and then I just started reading it every day, and then basically everything flipped. I got myself in an amazing relationship with the girlfriend that I love and I plan on spending my life with. We got our business running, and we've raised money, we faced challenges, be able to battle them. My health has been really good, my mindset has been great. So basically, it was just this one giant surrender. Then, I have now continued to pursue and use that discipline through reading and through kind of auditing my life and what I'm doing, and it's just been awesome.
It's almost like a calling.
Yeah.
Like it was your choice to get into it, but there were all of these different scenarios to where it was like, I think this is the route that I should go in.
Yeah.
This is the direction that I should take.
Shepherd grabs his sheep. I was getting fished for sure. So that's where I'm at now.
Well, I'm happy for you, man. You got a lot going on. How can we find you, Skylar Lysaker?
You can find me on Instagram at Skylar Lysaker, or you can go on LinkedIn and find me at Skylar Lysaker. I use LinkedIn more than anything else. I actually have a following on LinkedIn. I've taken some time prior to what I just said earlier, how I don't really grow things much. I have taken time on LinkedIn because I love LinkedIn. I like business people more than the influencer and the whole social media marketing crowd. Nothing against it, but I just find that I've had so much valuable that I've contrived from LinkedIn. And I met so many cool people. My content hits people more. I have a bigger reach, and I've made a lot of good friends from LinkedIn. I've made deals happen on LinkedIn. This is something that I never experienced on Instagram. So that's my personal opinion.
You beat to your own drum, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, a fellow Arizona entrepreneur, not
Absolutely.
from the state, but we're going to have to do this again sometime and keep things rolling. Are you going to the Arizona entrepreneur? It's like a meet and greet this Friday, right?
That's Thursday.
There?
Yeah.
Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Damn, it came up fast.
Yeah, it did.
Well, I got to go buy my ticket right now. But this was episode 431 of the podcast. Remember to get your sponsorship, or we're sponsored by Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, I should say. Get your membership deal now. You got 2 weeks. October 30th is the grand opening date. We're also sponsored by betonline.ag. Make your picks. Zach, play your close.